Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the GradCracker webinar featuring our good friends at Siemens. So Siemens advertises their placement and graduate opportunities on GradCracker and have been doing so for over the last 5 years. They also sponsor the GradCracker Toolkit, so check out their hub on GradCracker to find out more. So the recruitment team are together in Manchester today because they're going on their Christmas night out tonight. So they're a bit giddy, I'm going to warn you. So we're joined by Sophie and Charlotte. So remember Charlotte from the last webinar. And we're also joined by the grads as well, Jan, Catherine and Charbel. So thank you everybody for joining us today. So let's start by introducing everybody to Siemens and just to speak about your roles in more detail. So Sophie, I'm going to come to you first. Could you just tell the audience a bit about you, your background and your role at Siemens?
Oh, hi, I'm Sophie Marrow. I'm the Talent Acquisition Apprentice here at Siemens. I've been with the company around 2 years now. I'm pretty much nearly done with my apprenticeship, so I'm currently studying a HR qualification alongside my level 3 CIPD. And I also work with Charlotte in the early careers team, so I help recruit the apprentices, interns and graduates across all the different businesses here at Siemens.
Perfect, thank you very much, Sophie. On to you, Charlotte.
Yeah, so I've been at Siemens for 5 years now. So I was Sophie back 5 years ago. I was the apprentice. And like Sophie did some qualifications whilst also, learning how to recruit and things like that. And yeah, for the last 5 years, I've been helping to recruit the interns, graduates, summer placements and apprentices across all the Siemens divisions. So we're a team of 3. We recruit just about 300 people a year. So it's quite a busy team, quite a busy job. And yeah, I think that's me.
That's you. Thanks very much, Charlotte. And now we're going to move on and meet the grads. So Jan, I'm going to start with you. Could you just tell everybody about where you went to university and what did you study?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Jan. I did my bachelor's degree in communications and electronics. I did that in Mexico. And my postgrad was in electronic and electrical engineering. And that was in the University of Manchester. I've been working for a year in Siemens as a grad. I'm a network grad engineer in Midlands.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jan. Charbel, on to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Charbel. I'm a graduate signalling engineer at Siemens Mobility. I studied aerospace engineering at the University of Sheffield, and I also was an intern at Siemens a couple of years ago in between my 3rd and 5th year of my MEng. So yeah, I've just recently returned, joined as a grad back in September, now working out of the Chippenham office down in Wiltshire.
Perfect, thank you. Oh, there's a Yorkshire theme today, I'm so excited. Catherine, so Catherine is my fellow Yorkshire person because she was born just down the road from where I was born. So Catherine, where did you go to university and what did you study?
Yeah, I'm Catherine. So I went to Nottingham University and I studied electrical and electronic engineering, and I was actually part of something called our E3 Academy scheme. So that meant I did summer placements every summer at Siemens during my degree, and then I joined the grad scheme 2 years ago. So
perfect. So we've all got different ways into Siemens, so I'm really looking forward to going back and meeting the grads in more detail and find out how the placements went, the internships went, and obviously Jan started as a graduate as well. So thank you very much for the introductions. For now, I'm going to roll back to Charlotte. Charlotte, could you give, Siemens is massive, isn't it? It's such a big company. We do lots and lots of different things. Sophie's laughing already how Charlotte's going to manage this. So Charlotte, can you tell the audience about Siemens, who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so as you say, it's obviously a large organisation, so I'll try to do a summary. It's quite hard to summarise, but we're actually Europe's leading engineering and technology company. I think the way I would summarise Siemens is to say that we basically find and create innovative solutions to society's, problems. So we have our mobility division, which, are part of the trains and traffic and things like that, and helping people move around the UK. We have our smart infrastructure division, which is all around energy and smart buildings and how that, again, moves around the UK. And then we have our digital industries division, which is all kind of around factory automation and things like that. So basically any part of infrastructure within society, we're, trying to help in the most innovative and sustainable way that we can. we have a lot of cutting edge, and like I say, I keep using the word innovative, but it is one of our our values. So it is something that we talk about quite a lot. But yeah, all of our technologies are really cutting edge, and we have some outstanding people working for us. I think in the UK we've got about, I think the last time I checked it was about 18,000 people working for us, and worldwide it's something crazy like 340,000 or something like that. The numbers change because we have a lot of restructures and things like that.
Yeah.
But it is in the crazy numbers like that. So yeah, I think that kind of sums it up in terms of a technology kind of perspective. But in terms of culture perspective, something that I would say, which I don't think you would necessarily have this view of Siemens knowing how big it is, but we are very family-like. The culture is very family-like. I mean, you know, the 3 grads that are on this call today, I've met a few times and feel like I'd know really well, even though really I haven't met them that often and I don't see them every day. But the kind of most people that you meet within Siemens are very friendly, very open. You can sort of make really good friends quite quickly, and you can collaborate across all the different divisions and things like that. And I think being in a large organization, you wouldn't necessarily expect that, but you do get that collaboration across, which is really nice.
Yeah, I definitely get that image of youth. It's normally, so in the recruitment team, it's Charlotte, Sophie and Victoria, isn't it? And it's like the 3 musketeers, you 3 together. So so it's definitely that family feel and that we get across, as well as working with you as GradCracker. So Charlotte, tell the students what's on offer at the moment. So I know you've got 5 placements and 5 graduate opportunities advertised on GradCracker. Just tell the students a little bit more about those if you can.
Yeah, so I think at the minute we've got kind of digital based roles. So we've got business IT, we've got digital operations, things like that. We have a few materials and logistics roles as well, which because obviously being such a large organization, you know, manufacturing things like trains and stuff like that, we obviously need you know, a lot of materials and logistics and supply chain people as well. We have a sales role on there, I think, at the moment. We have got quite a lot of our demand in just recently. Sometimes it does take a little bit of a time, but we have just over the last couple of weeks been getting more and more demand in. So I believe we'll be advertising more on our website, but obviously with GradCracker as well on our hub. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of demand coming in this year as well.
Yeah, so the opportunities that Siemens have got open at the moment, obviously viewers go apply to them today after this webinar. If there's something that's not quite right for you, follow them, because when Siemens do open their other opportunities, like Charlotte just mentioned, they'll be on the hub. So yeah, make sure you give them a follow and apply if you can. So Sophie, I'm going to come to you now. Timelines, deadlines, things like that, closing dates. What should a student expect? So if they apply today, what's the timelines that they should be working towards?
Yeah, so our roles, obviously depending on the role and kind of application numbers and that kind of thing, they'll be around live till around the end of January, and after that is when it kind of me, Charlotte, Vic, kind of approach CV screening. So that can take, especially because we've got high volumes of applications, that can take a few weeks, and then after that, the next stage you can expect is our online games-based assessment, and then after that it would go to an on-demand video providing the hiring manager kind of like CV, etc. And then hopefully we look at kind of assessment centres around April time, maybe a bit earlier depending on the role, maybe a bit later, but kind of between now and May time is kind of the biggest part of our recruitment and when we're hoping to get a lot of our roles filled.
Busy times, busy months ahead. Sorry, Jess.
Yeah, am I allowed just to interrupt there? But when you say the games-based assessment, Sophie, would you mind, Carl, if we could just talk a little bit about that? It's just that when speaking to students, and a lot of students that are listening today might be interested in hearing what that is all about, because it's kind of a new thing that's come into HR and recruitment quite recently, hasn't it, over the last couple of years? So could you just tell the students a bit about what that actually entails and what the students can expect when going through that?
And hints and tips.
Yeah, so instead of it being the typical maths and English test that quite a few companies may still use, it's very much based on your behaviours and how you would fit within Siemens, and that kind of thing. So it's a game you can do it on your phone, an iPad, a laptop. It's very easy. We've recently just updated it, so it's a lot more user friendly and kind of the visuals and that a lot better. If any kind of reasonable adjustments need to be made, that's possible. So when we reach out to you guys and say, oh, well done, you've got to the next stage, we just let you know, oh, by the way, if you need reasonable adjustments, we can do that. So obviously we're still being inclusive and getting everyone we can through to that stage. I think when you're doing kind of a hint or tip, if you would call it, to do the actual game, is just kind of keep trying and be you, because we're not assessing you on how good you are at maths or English. We're assessing you on your behaviours. So we want to know if you'd be a great fit into the team here at Siemens, because we don't, I'd say quite a lot, is the teams don't want a robot. They want a personality. They want someone they can get along with. They want someone they can go out for a drink on a Christmas do outing. So we want to like have a fun atmosphere, because it's best for the candidates as well, because you want the job you enjoy. So just kind of put yourself, don't try and double guess yourself, just do whatever you think is natural for the game.
Oh, perfect. So many good points there. And I also just want to circle back to the point where you made about, making adjustments. I think sometimes candidates are a bit nervous to ask for adjustments, because they think, is that going to have a negative impact on my application? Are they going to then look at my application and think, oh no? So yeah, it's so good that you've both said that and, nodding along to that, because I think sometimes students are a bit nervous about asking for help, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And it is purely so we can support you further in your application. Yeah. It doesn't go any further. It's just us, right, okay, we'll sort that our end, and that's as far as it goes.
Yes, perfect. It's all about making the experience as positive as possible, isn't it? You want them to get the job and to get a job that's right for them. So yeah, I'm really glad we touched upon that.
Yeah,
sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Everybody just needs to speak up, don't they, and just be open and honest, and then everybody will have a perfect experience. Thanks very much, Sophie and Charlotte, and we're going to go on and meet the grads.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about your roles and what your experience have been so far. So Jan, I'm going to come to you first. If you could just tell us a bit about your role and what life is like for you.
Okay, as I mentioned, I'm a data networks engineer, and as a grad, I've been supporting the technical design for almost a year.
Right.
I've taken other placements, but I've always been in the background supporting technical design. And what I've done is basically support to deliver SCADA solutions to monitor the electrification in the network rail. And so far it's been so good. I've learned a lot about trains, technology that I've never worked before. And that has built up my CV a lot. I've received a lot of training because obviously I had the qualifications in networks, in wireless communications. As an engineer, I was ready to crack on with that, but I didn't have any knowledge about trains, signaling, and all those kind of things. So far I got a lot of training, and I think I've got some experience in a very high demand area.
Definitely. Did you have an interest in rail then before working with Siemens, or is this kind of a new?
No, not really. I mean, it was impressive how, I don't know, to set up a green light requires a lot of systems to work together. And honestly, it is amazing. I've never worked with trains before. I would never thought I would do it.
Yeah.
But I love it. And I've enjoyed so far, like a lot. And I've learned quite a few things. And I think it's just something sometimes it doesn't cross your mind, but then once you're there, it's just amazing. And I've enjoyed like a lot.
So in terms of your kind of graduate experience so far, so how does it work in terms of like rotations? Do you get rotated around areas of this particular area of the business, or how is it working for you, and what does your projects kind of look like?
Yeah, I mean, so far I've been involved in 3 placements. One is bids and tendering, another one is project engineering, and the technical design. This is just like to get you involved in different areas of the business, and then you can improve different skills in all those roles, which is, I think, crucial, because you will have the opportunity to do networking, which is really important in our careers. Also, you can assess things differently from different perspectives, and then I think you can improve your knowledge and your experience from different aspects. And also your contributions can be quite different. So I think also that's giving you enough, like you're able to taste the waters to see what is out there, what you like, what you don't like that much, and also to discover things that you can be really good at that you didn't even know, which is amazing. Sometimes your manager can like let you know, you've done this amazingly, and sometimes, okay, you need to improve this, which is fine, but you get the accurate feedback from your managers, and then you can discover that you are good at things that you didn't even know.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Why, graduate programs, overall a great experience for you to, again, test drive your career in so many different elements. In terms of, I know this is a question I'm actually going to ask you a bit later on, so I probably shouldn't ask you this, but just yet. But have you got an idea yet where you can see your career going long term, or not yet?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I had a previous experience working as an engineer when I was back in Mexico, but I have to say my experience in Siemens and in the UK is completely different. So it's always been like a learning process for me. And I think so far the grad program is one of the best things to ever happen to me, because I'm taking responsibility, but at the same time I'm learning, which you don't have that opportunity in a lot of places. So I definitely can see where my career is going. I would like to support the technical design and become a senior engineer in networks. And I'm already working on that. I've talked about this with my managers, and they are really supporting me, giving me the right and appropriate training for it. I'm actually taking a certification exam quite soon. So yeah, definitely.
Brilliant.
I can say it. I can say where this is going, and the most important thing, I'm getting the support from the management team.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. Good luck.
Right. So it's really, really great to hear. Catherine, I'm going to come to you next, if that's okay. And yes, same question. If you could just tell us a bit about your role, what life is like, and everything about you so far.
Yeah, so I've actually just finished my grad scheme. So I've been on the grad scheme for 2 years and actually moved role officially on Monday. So yeah, so but actually I've been working in this department. So I'm working in the technical support team, so I work for our digital industries division, which I think Charlotte touched on it earlier, but they work across different industries in the UK, so everything from pharmaceuticals to water to automotive. So, and it's our equipment that automates all the different processes in those industries and in factories and things. So I'm working in the technical support team, and my new role is as an automation specialist.
Oh wow, brilliant.
So yeah, thank you.
No, how exciting. So to me, that I'm kind of a person that likes the idea of having different projects and getting your teeth into different things. So that sounds like, a really exciting job where you could have a phone call with, one company, one in the morning, and then in the afternoon you're working on something completely different. And is that really what life is like for you? Can you get your teeth into lots of different projects in one go, or?
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm just starting this role, I think I'll still need to do quite a bit of training to be able to get to that point. But yeah, it's been good. I've been shadowing some of the people in my team and coming along to meetings with them, and getting to see them supporting our customers. And like there was one day a few weeks ago, I was in a meeting in the water industry, and then the next day I was in a meeting with somebody in the glass industry, and it's nice to like see how things work in lots of different industries and meet lots of different people, and be able to support our customers. So it's quite exciting.
That is really.
Me and Jess are terrible. It's about these webinars that we're doing. It's like, it's my second day. Right, so what have we done? What have you learned? It's my second day. Just chill out. Just rewind. I'm settling in. We're terrible at that, Jess. We just get too excited, don't we? We're just like, so what have we done? Who have you seen? Who do you know? What I was going to say, Catherine, is, you mentioned before about doing your summer placements at Siemens. So go through those with us in a bit more detail. So with the different placements in different parts of Siemens, or did you go back to the same department, or just go through that as well, if you don't mind?
So it's all been within the digital industries division, but I've worked across lots of different departments. So I did 2 different summer placements, and they were each 8 weeks. So I started off in our partner management business. So a lot of Siemens business is done through distribution partners, and so I was in that department for my first 8 weeks at Siemens, which was really exciting to kind of understand the business and how we bring our products to market and things. So that was really interesting. And then I did the next year, then I came back after and did another 8 weeks in our factory automation business. So it was really good way to like apply what I'd been learning at uni. And then when I did the grad scheme, I did like 6-month placements around the business as well. So I guess I've been rotating for like, I suppose 5 years, like off and on. And now I'll be in one place. So yeah.
Oh, good.
I think it's great though, because you do get to meet so many people around the business and really get to understand what you like, a bit like what Jan was saying. And but yeah, it's good because now as I'm in my new role, I've got this whole network of people across the business that I know and I can go to for help and support. So that's a good thing about the Siemens family, is like having that network and being able to be in our early careers, you do get to move around quite a bit and meet people, so that's good.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Catherine. Sorry, Jess, I was chipping in with you then.
Charbel, going to come to you. Same question, if you could tell us a bit about your role and what life is like for you at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, I joined the mobility business within Siemens as a graduate signaling engineer. Now within the mobility business, I specifically work within rail infrastructure. And within the rail infrastructure business unit, I kind of work out of the signaling team, which is based out of Chippenham, down in Wiltshire. So in essence, what we do here is we basically engineer signaling solutions to make sure that the trains, the trams, the metros get from A to B on time, reliably, and obviously most importantly, safely. But yeah, at the moment, I'm on the first year of the graduate program. I started back in September, and I'm rotating every 4 months, kind of to help me gain a broad experience of the organization. At the moment, I'm in the strategy and business development team, and I'm going to be moving into the digitalization and innovation team in February, so I'm quite looking forward to that. And I think I touched on it earlier. I was actually an intern at Siemens within rail infrastructure as well, but I was working in the fixed telecoms and SCADA teams, which is where Jan's actually based at the moment. So that was quite nice, having that exposure to different bits of the business, and obviously now come back as a graduate in a slightly different role in signaling, but yeah, thoroughly enjoying it so far.
Could we talk a bit about that experience in that transition of doing an intern to a, coming back as a graduate? Because I think it's quite common now, employers, ask interns to come back for their graduate opportunities, once they've finished their experience. And how was that experience for you? Did Siemens offer you a role? Did you have to apply again? How did that work?
Well, put it this way, I think the year in industry is a fantastic opportunity for both students and employers, because in essence, it's basically a year-long interview. You're showcasing what you can do and what you can offer to the company and what value you can add. And in return, if you impress the right people, you get offered a graduate position. So I was quite lucky in that regard. Obviously, things must have gone well on my internship for me to end up as a graduate. So yeah, I've quite enjoyed that process actually. And as I said, because I've worked in quite a variety of different teams, it's helped me, kind of echoing what Catherine and Jan said, it's helped me work out what exactly I like and what kind of I want to do in the future. So that's been very helpful in that regard.
I can imagine it massively benefits as well when you start your grad program, that you've already got an idea of the setting, the environment, the culture already. I can imagine you fell into place quite quickly again.
Absolutely, and it's again echoing what Catherine and Jan said already, but it's the network you form. So there's obviously such a big organization, there's so many people working in different bits in the business, but when you're, one tip I guess I would have for people who are successful in internships is to network with as many people as you can. I found that helped me a lot when I came back as a graduate, just even knowing a few familiar faces around the office when we are in, and even if you're on a meeting, on a Teams call, whatever, even just seeing someone's name, it's quite nice to have that sort of familiarity, that kind of friendly face that you know already and you can have a chat with. So yeah, that's been my experience.
Perfect. All sounds very positive and very exciting, guys. So yeah, I'm going to come.
Can I just ask another question about what you studied at uni compared to what we did now? Because during the prep session before, you mentioned about studying aerospace at Sheffield, and then you went studying aerospace, to going and working in the rail department.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
To be honest, I get asked that question quite a lot, because you tend to find people who study aerospace tend to kind of want a career in aerospace after.
Yeah.
And that was certainly the case for me. But I kind of got introduced to this opportunity it was actually Charlotte and Victoria. And I think it's important to keep an open mind. At the end of the day, engineering is engineering. And whatever organization you join, you're going to learn an awful lot. So I just found I'd never even considered the railway beforehand, but when I saw this opportunity, I read the sort of job description, it all sounded very interesting, and there was a lot of opportunities to grow and develop, and the grad program was structured in such a way that it kind of made sure you had to know all you needed to know to basically perform your job well when you do finish. So in that regard, the transition was not very easy. There was a few learning curves along the way, and there's obviously still learning every day, and there's still a lot to learn. But yeah, in general, I think it was quite a nice transition, and I think it's just important to keep an open mind and not narrow down on one path too early in your career.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up in the railway industry, coming from an aerospace background.
I know that's something that you're always saying to Jess to students about keeping an open mind. You know, look at the different sectors that are out there. When Jess is presenting to unis across the country, you're always saying that, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think also if a job specifically says, you know, you need a certain background, like don't let that put you off, because I think at the time when I applied, I don't think aerospace was considered for like this role, but I applied for it anyway, and obviously I was successful. So definitely keep an open mind and don't be afraid to apply, basically.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, I just don't think anyone can be shutting doors at this early stage of your career, because you know, classic example, and again, Jan, you said the same, you didn't realize already where your career was going to take you, and you know, the interests. And
yeah, definitely. And you know, something is really interesting is I actually applied for an internship and I ended with a grad job instead. I never went through the internship. I was looking for that because I was still working on my dissertation, my postgrad dissertation, and I applied for the internship, but instead I got the offer for a grad scheme.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
There you are.
Yeah, so you'll never know, just go for it, and then just try.
Yeah,
exactly. So next I want to talk about projects and the exciting projects that you've all been working on. So Jan, I'll stick with you if that's okay. And if you could just tell us maybe a bit of detail about maybe your favorite project that you've worked on so far.
Well, I work with some projects to provide the networks to monitor the electrification part of the rail infrastructure. But at the moment, I'm working with a project that is a testing network in the lab. And so far is the one that I've enjoyed the most, because it has given me the chance to apply everything I learned from other projects. And it's kind of like having my own baby, because I'm basically having this freedom to make suggestions, give my own ideas, and obviously build everything from scratch. Even that is quite challenging, is basically when you are testing all the things that you are learning, how good you've learned them, and also having this freedom to try new things, give suggestions. So that's an amazing project I'm working at the moment, building this testing network in the lab.
So how does that work, and how does that look like on a daily basis? Is it quite, you know, are you working part of a team, you know, testing this, or are you on your own? Is it quite focus work? How does it kind of?
Well, yeah, my manager gave me some kind of what he's expecting from this project, and I'm having the support from 2 apprenticeships at the moment. Okay. So I'm kind of working with them as a team. So the 3 of us are trying to build this. At the moment, it's just the documentation. And we're trying to get everything we need to build this network in the lab, because we provide solutions to the network rail. So we're trying to test in the lab all those solutions before they are there. So it's quite challenging, because obviously you have this idea how it's going to be, but then the more you're working on it, the more you realize that, oh, I haven't thought about this, or I don't know how to do this, or okay, we need to try to find a solution. So it's quite challenging, but quite nurturing at the same time, because it's always like learning.
Yeah. So do you manage the apprentices that work with you?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
One of them just joined 1 month ago,
Right.
and I'm his mentor. Um, and yeah, and the other one has been working in York and fixed telecoms, and he's supporting the project at the moment. So yeah, kind of supporting them, but at the same time they're supporting me. Because for
Brilliant.
example, the one that he's working in York for 2 years, because he's
Yeah.
not a new apprentice, he's quite experienced, he has knowledge. So I think we
Okay.
both kind of support each other. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's learning those other skills as well, you know, those softer skills of managing, networking, communicating.
Yeah, kind
You know,
of. Yeah, always supporting them, asking them how you doing, because obviously we're working in a hard environment at the moment. People are working from home. We don't see each other very often, but I'm trying to meet them in the office at least once a week. So yeah, yes, also developing these skills for me. So it's quite a good opportunity.
well done you. Brilliant. Okay, Catherine, I'm going to come to you. Same question. Favorite project you worked on so far?
Yeah, so on my grad scheme, the project that I probably worked on the longest was so I worked with a non-for-profit company called Glass Futures, and so they're doing a range of different projects in the glass industry, and the aim is to try and decarbonize the glass industry and also digitalize it. So Siemens are a key partner of Glass Futures. So I'm still working on one of the projects, and where we're working with a customer to try and reduce the energy and the defects in glass bottles across their glass plant. So we're using like data analytics and the cloud to do that. So that's quite an exciting project, because it could have like big impact as well on if we reduce carbon across the glass industry. That's like a massive achievement. So it's really exciting to be able to work on things like that. And some of these are government funded projects, so that brings a new element to it. There's some project management involved, a little bit of sales involved, and lots of stakeholder management. So it's been challenging, but also really rewarding as well, and quite exciting to be involved in.
Again, and it kind of marries up with what you were saying, Charlotte, about innovation and being at the forefront of an idea and the forefront of something which potentially could completely, you know, reshape an industry. So it's great that you've managed to kind of keep that project as well as you go into your new role. So that's really, really exciting. So well done for that. So fingers crossed. How are you getting on? Do you think you will be able to reduce carbon emissions in the glass sector?
Hopefully we'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Okay, Charbel, coming to you. Same question. Favorite project you worked on so far?
Yeah, so obviously I've only been here since September, but
Yeah.
despite that, I've been involved in all sorts of things. So yeah, obviously I'm working with the strategy and business development team at the moment. And one really exciting project I've been working on, and it's got some real responsibility on it. So I was quite, delighted with the level of responsibility I've been given. I'm basically working with the key account managers to help the business identify future opportunities across the entire portfolio, so not just in signaling, but also in telecoms, in station management, in rolling stock, etc. And for this, I sort of have to basically closely monitor news from the government and the Department for Transport. And we've basically built this technology dashboard, which has all sorts of information about the infrastructure on the railway across the UK. And using that dashboard, I have to basically extract information from it, do some background research, conduct competitor analysis to basically identify what opportunities we as a business strategically should pursue over the next sort of control period. And yet basically improved all sorts of skills from presentations. I'm constantly working with senior stakeholders, presenting my findings to them through different update meetings. And due to the nature of this project, it very closely links with a different project I'm working on with the Digitalization and Innovation Hub, in that I'm basically finding ways to automate processes with how we use our client relationship management tool. And that's using all sorts of things from cloud computing to data analytics and data visualization. And that's completely new to me, and I've had to kind of learn that, but there's been so much support and training for that. So it's made that transition quite easy and quite smooth, actually. But it's been really nice. I've learned a lot so far on the grad scheme, and long may it continue.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know, it all sounds like you've all got a lot going on, haven't you? You know, you're running quite multiple projects, lots of things going on, getting new jobs, Catherine, and starting to sound very exciting. I know we're going to talk about training and development next. Start with Calla.
We are, yes. So first I want to talk to Sophie, actually. So when a student is successful at joining Siemens, what kind of support do you give them before the start? So do you have like keep in touch days? How do you keep in touch with them before the first day at Siemens?
Yeah, so ourselves as the recruitment team, obviously, once we've offered you the role, we get the contract out to you, and the candidate signs it, returns it. We have a pre-boarding site that we send to all of our candidates, whether it's grads, interns, summer placement or apprentices, and that's got an awful lot of information on about Siemens, about our different sites, kind of different kind of videos that can help you, give you a bit more knowledge, because obviously, as Charlotte mentioned, it is a pretty big company, so it's got lots of information on there that can kind of just help with that kind of selling a few of those nerves coming into a big company. We also encourage our hiring managers to reach out to the candidates. Obviously, the hiring managers reach out, keep in touch. Some people may invite them in just for a bit of a tour of the site, or obviously a lot now is virtual, have virtual calls with the team, or maybe even current grads, interns, just to kind of keep that communication open, because we are aware that if you're offered a role in May and you're only starting in October, that is quite a while for radio silence. So every few weeks, we do like to kind of encourage our hiring managers to reach out to the candidate and just make sure that they're okay, they know what they're doing, and obviously provide all the information for your start first day, where it'll be, whether it'll be virtual or in person. It's a big question nowadays, what to wear and that kind of thing, and what to expect.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that if it was virtual in person, but I think things are changing all the time, aren't they? That you probably won't say, because it might be in person today, then change again tomorrow. So when a graduate starts or a replacement student starts with Siemens, what kind of support is on offer to them? I know the grads have mentioned their fantastic experiences, but how do you help them transition from being, you know, a student at university to starting a career?
Yeah, so obviously they're joining a team, they've got the line manager, they've got the surrounding team. Likelihood is they're also maybe interns or graduate summer placements joining. So not only have you got a great mentor to learn from your line manager, but you've also got someone going through the same thing. Very often you do kind of have a community of grads. I know in the Manchester office, like Catherine, I know she is quite friendly with the rest of the grads. So you've got kind of that support bubble there where you're all going through the same thing. It's all very different roles, but that kind of thing. And then you have your own dedicated training manager and your placement manager. And then our learning campus, they also support our grads through the development program, that our grads and interns, through the development program. So they're there at the start as well to kind of explain what the development program is, what it'll contain, what kind of topics they'll be looking at, and that kind of thing.
Brilliant, thank you, Sophie. And what I'm going to do now, Charlotte, can I just ask you a couple of questions? I've scribbled them down before, so these are a bit off the hoof. Don't start laughing, they're not that bad. So you mentioned, obviously the grads have mentioned about all the different locations that they could be based. Is there opportunity when everything's normal to travel abroad, maybe as part of the graduate programme or after the graduate programme?
I wouldn't say it's a standard part of the programme. I have known it to happen. I've known apprentices to also go abroad as well. So it does happen on occasion. It's usually if there's a site that they need to go and see, or if they're doing some sort of collaborative project with another site abroad. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a standard part of it. But with us being a global company, following your graduate programme, there's always opportunity abroad. Quite often as well, different countries will be happy for you to be based wherever. So you could be based from the UK, but you know, go and work in, like you could go and travel to France if you're working for a French team or whatever. Like they quite often, if you look on our careers site, it usually just say you can be based sort of anywhere around the world, but you would then travel to wherever the actual team is. But I'm talking, this is post-grad program that's following that. But yeah, definitely say a lot of the, you know, people at Siemens that have been here for a while now, you speak to them about their experiences, and it is quite often, you know, they talk about traveling abroad, obviously within, you know, pre-COVID times, and you know, it's hard to say at the moment what we can do any like at all, but yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I just like to say, I wouldn't say it's standard part of the program.
Yeah, possibility though, possibility.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and a strong possibility as well, you know, because it's not, we are Siemens UK, but you know, we're constantly like in the TA team, for example, constantly collaborating with different countries, and you know, you want to take advantage of the fact that it is a global company, and nice. There is a chance to go abroad, or there's a chance for a role abroad or something like that, you know. And sometimes they do like projects, like transformation projects or whatever, so you could go to a different country and teach them kind of the UK ways and try and sort of transform their department or whatever. I've known that to happen quite a lot as well, so yeah, definitely a strong possibility.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much, girls. So I know this isn't part of the agenda either, but Jan and Catherine, before when we were just chatting before the webinar, you mentioned about different networks that you're involved in, and you recognised each other from being on sessions about is it the Women's Network? Could you just, I don't know if it to be you, Catherine, or you, Jan, could one of you just tell me a little bit more about that, how you got involved in it? It could be both of you, and what the Women's Network is, and what do you hope for the future for that network? Jan, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, I saw the advertisement on LinkedIn and I offered to help and be part of it, because I love encouraging other women to become part of the engineering world. And yeah, I mean, so far for me, it's been good. It's been very inclusive, and it was an amazing experience because it was a room full of 44, I think, of 40 female engineers. So it was quite encouraging, and I was proud of having all that amazing and talented people around. And also we had people speaking about their experiences in engineering. So yeah, I'm supporting the group. I wouldn't say I'm part of the people that are providing this, or I haven't joined formally, but I'm always supporting those activities as a volunteer.
And is there anything else that anybody gets up to? So Sophie, Charlotte, you can answer this question as well, or the grads. Apart from your day-to-day life at Siemens, are there any other networks or any other, like if you're a mentor or anything else that you tend to get involved in? And
there is actually something that the grads on the call won't know about because it's quite new, but some grads in I think it's Austria have set up a Siemens trainee network program. And basically they're trying to, and they've successfully connected lots of different graduates from all over the world. And it's like I say, it's very new. It's only just reached the UK, and they got in touch with me, and it's actually on my to-do list to get our grads involved. I do apologise, but none of you guys
have to do it now, Charlotte. It's live on air. You need to do it.
But yeah, they're really keen to make contact with all the graduates, because in other countries there are nowhere near as many. The UK are like really high number of graduates. I think they have about 80 on a program at a time per year, so we usually have a lot. So yeah, that's something that's a very, like I say, it's just come to the UK, a new trainee program, network program that yeah, they're all getting in touch with each other and you know, arranging for collaborations on projects, and hopefully something like that could lead to international travel as well. It's when we can. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Actually, I'll email you guys about it, don't worry.
You heard it here first, guys. Hot off the press. Catherine, did you want to say something, because you unmuted yourself?
Yeah, I was going to say there's also some employee networks. So I've been involved in the Lean In network, which is so they run Lean In sessions on different topics, and I got the opportunity to lead one of those. So for example, the one I led was on boundaries and how we make boundaries in our lives, and that's really a good way to meet other people from different Siemens businesses. We've been running them on Teams over the pandemic, so it's been a lot more people going to them, and yeah, just to talk about things that are kind of work related on, but not specifically to your day-to-day work. And yeah, and there's also other networks, yeah, such as the Empower network, which is our race network at Siemens, and I've gone along to some of their webinars and things they've run, and that's been really, really good and really interesting and good to discuss these things in Siemens. And yeah, it's been good.
It just brings you all together again, doesn't it, as well, during these networking sessions. Thank you very much for that, Catherine. What I'm going to do now is move on to training and development. So I know you've all mentioned about all the soft skills that you've gained and everything else that you've gained during your time at Siemens, but if you could choose from a real personal point of view to either how you learn or what you've learnt, what piece of training have you been given that you've enjoyed the most? And Charbel, you've been quiet for a little bit, so I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, no worries at all. For me, it would have to be the BST, which is the basic signaling technology training.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, obviously I came from an aerospace background, so I had very little knowledge about the railway, even with my internship, because I didn't really deal with signaling when I was there. So at first, I think naturally, I felt a little bit nervous going into this job, but I've got to say that the training was absolutely fantastic. It taught me everything from signaling systems to train detection, train protection, warning systems, and so much more. And this kind of helped give me working knowledge about our products, so that even like small things like you're sat in a meeting or reading an engineering drawing or a signaling scheme plan, and it just helps make sense. It helps it make sense and kind of put it into context about what you're hearing about or what you're reading about. And no doubt this will help me in my future career. And from a personal level, I think when I was in internship, one of the modules you do on the development program is called business influencing skills. And that was really, really helpful to improve sort of your presenting skills, how you can be persuasive in the right ways. And I feel like that was very, very beneficial. And I used it a lot, not just when I was in my internship, but actually when I came back to university and I was doing my dissertation. It changes the way you write, the way you present. And it's helping me at the moment as well when I'm presenting, as I said earlier, to managers and senior stakeholders. So yeah, that was an absolutely delight to be on that course. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Charlotte, correct me if I'm wrong, the grads also do it again on the graduate program. So
Yeah.
there'll be opportunities for both interns and grads to be on that.
Oh, wow. Perfect. Thank you very much, Charbel. Catherine, on to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo what Charbel said about the business influencing skills. Was a really good module that I did on the grad scheme as well. So there's like the GDP, which is the graduate development program. So one of the other ones I did of that was so we did some strength-based training, and that was really good because it helped me to recognize what my key strengths are, the way I like to work. And I think I'm quite different to a lot of the people in my team, but it's the nice part about working for Siemens is that we all complement each other, and in a lot of ways you can adapt your role to what your strengths are. And yeah, I think it was just really helpful for me to recognize what I'm like and how I like to work and things, to be able to communicate that well to other people at Siemens as well. So
what's one thing, Catherine, that you found out about how you like to work then that you think, oh, that's what I'm all about?
So actually all about the people. So on my like, it was called strength scope, but all of my strengths were in collaboration, which was quite unusual really for an engineer. A lot of other people were like quite detail oriented and things like that, but all of my skills were in the people area. So that was good because I think it'll be good now because I'm working with customers as well to be able to use those skills. So yeah,
and then in the future, if you want to be a manager and things like that, you've got all those skills as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Catherine. Jan, on to you. You mentioned you were nodding and smiling away then when Charbel was talking.
I'm going to be brief because they just stole my answers. Yeah, definitely the signaling course, because as Charbel, I'm from a different background. So my area is wireless communications, data networks. So obviously for me, it was like open my eyes to something completely new. So definitely the signaling training related to trains. It was amazing.
I saw you nodding and smiling along when Charbel was talking.
When Tara was saying that, definitely I share the feeling. So 100% is the one that I enjoyed the most. And also adding a little bit to what Catherine said, when you were trying to find your strengths, also recognizing how people work and how they can be useful, or how can they add to your team in terms of the things that you don't have. So it's really good to identify what they can provide to your team if they have those skills that you don't. So because we need completely different people to build up a good team. So yeah, it's something I really enjoyed that from that training. But yeah, 100% the signaling one.
Good. I want to go on this signaling training, Charlotte.
You should.
Thanks.
Again,
Oh,
it's something
God.
you don't really think about either. I can imagine, when you use a train, you kind of don't think about all the processes, do you?
I'm just thinking about like the responsibility though, when you're on a train and you see, Jess, me and you've spent our lives on trains before, and we've just been sat there seeing all these signals and think, flipping heck, it's mad, isn't it, about all the responsibility that you guys have got as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like just to see one green light on the train line, it's just like, wow, overwhelming how many systems have to work together. It's just, I didn't even think about that in the past.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something, Charbel, because he unmuted himself.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you look at, obviously just look at a signal and you think, oh, it's either, red, yellow or green or double yellow. And you don't really appreciate what goes behind that until you actually study the technology that goes on it. And it's kind of funny, obviously, after we did the course, I remember sort of waiting at a platform for the train to pull in and looking at the tracks. Oh, that's an axle counter. Oh, look, there's a, this signal means that or whatever. And it just helped kind of put into context things you don't realize in your day-to-day life. You get on trains, you just get on it, it gets you from A to B, but you don't appreciate what actually goes behind the scenes to make that happen.
I think that's a common theme with Siemens as well, like across all of the Siemens businesses, is we're quite subtle. We don't like shove it in your face. We're not like, we're Siemens, like our trains, for example, they just have a tiny little Siemens like logo in the corner and on the step, whereas like you look at like what was the Virgin trains and it's like plastered right across, and we're not like that. And I think that's quite a nice thing about us, is we're quite subtle. So even though people have usually heard of us, they don't realize how many like industries and technologies that we're actually a part of, and that we are in most, like Catherine was saying before, we are in most industries. Our technologies are across all of the world, but all of the UK as well.
It is madness when you get to know about an employer and you do start seeing their logo. They
Yeah.
That's my clients. That's one of my clients. My husband gets sick. He's like, yeah, Carla, yeah, whatever. Have we covered futures, do you think, Jess?
I do, yeah, really. We've all got an exciting future by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Everybody's nodding. Key benefits. Shall we cover key benefits? Charbel, start with you again. So what would you say is one key benefit? I know you've said about the training. You're not allowed to say the training course anymore. It has to be something new. So a key benefit that you think that you would receive from starting at Siemens?
I think it's the opportunity for career progression. I think, I don't want to keep saying training, but we do have a fantastic training resource, not necessarily a signaling one, but we have something called My Learning World, which is essentially a platform you can go on, and it has training for anything you can think of, essentially, that could help you in your role. And I think it's been so helpful for me. For example, if I get a set of tasks from one of my managers, and I'm not really sure how to use a particular bit of software, or for example, I had to write a bit of code and I didn't quite understand the syntax. There's a course for that, and that helps me in my day-to-day role. So that's been fantastic. Another benefit I would say is the flexible working. I think it's great. We've adopted the new norm, and that kind of came in towards the end of my internship, actually, as we were kind of starting the lockdowns and stuff like that. And it's fantastic. It's nice to be able to have that flexibility to come into the office as and when you want. And as I said, we've adapted very well to it with all the the VPNs and the online communication methods and stuff like that. So yeah, they're two great benefits, I would say. And I forgot to mention one, actually, the volunteering days. We get given, I think it's 2 volunteering days as part of the company's corporate social responsibility. And you can use those 2 days to basically volunteer for any causes that are important to you, or it could be something like helping out a local school. It could be, helping an old person's home, or any cause that's important to you. So that's really nice to have as well. Thank
you very much, Charbel. For a point that you weren't allowed to mention training, you mentioned training 3 times. I counted.
Sorry, viewers.
You're a naughty boy. Jan, so your favourite bit of training?
Yeah, no, definitely diversity and inclusion. I'm a female engineer. I'm from a different background, from Mexico, and I feel like Siemens in the UK is home for me, So I always feel like I'm part of it. People are really nice, and I feel really comfortable. So I think that's a big thing, because I feel like I'm part of it.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Thank you very much, Jan. Catherine?
Yeah, I think just being part of such a big company, there's such a and you're working across so many different industries, it's such a nice variety of work, and there's opportunity to see so many exciting things and work with lots of different people. So I think that's one of the main benefits, and also just the culture as well. It's such an open culture, and there's a lot of opportunity to do things outside of your role and to develop and grow in that way. So it's a good way to stretch yourself, and nice to be part of a company that's so open and collaborative as well. So
brilliant. Thank you very much, Catherine. I think, Sophie, you actually mentioned about the application process at the beginning of the webinar, but Sophie, Charlotte, is there anything else that you want to finish off by saying about the application process? Any hints and tips or anything else that you want to finalise?
I think I think I got up to a bit about the on-demand video, and then so obviously the next stage would be an assessment centre or interview. At the minute they are virtual. I'm hoping, I don't know if Charlotte is, but I'm hoping that those can be in person next year, because I love meeting the candidates, my hiring managers, and that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed they are in person. However, assessment centres, we have got a brand new platform that we developed with alongside a company, and it's great. It is literally like we've picked up the assessment centre and put it virtual, so we can do those virtually. The biggest tip I would have for your interview or assessment centre is be yourself. As much as we're looking for a great candidate, a great engineer, we want someone to be part of the team. We want someone to enjoy themselves. So be yourself, talk about those hobbies you've got, those fun little quirks, those things that people can relate to in the interview. And also interview us, ask us questions. If you've got questions, ask us them. As much as an interview to you than it is to us. So ask any questions you've got. We will try our best to answer them. If we can't, we will make sure someone answers them.
Yeah, I think the only other thing to add on to Soph's points there, quite often our hiring managers are looking for passion, because we recognize that in early careers positions, then the people coming into these programs aren't the finished product. That's why we have the training, that's why we have the development program, because we want to get you to well, it's our future workforce at the end of the day, and our future leaders as well. A lot of our senior people have come from our graduate program. That's very much what Siemens is about. But yeah, passion is the main thing, and I think that applies to the entire process. So on your cover letter, why are you applying to the job? Are you passionate about engineering? Are you passionate about signaling? Are you passionate about whatever business, if it's a business role? Really selling that passion side of things, because there's nothing can really beat that. If you've got obviously the behaviors and the collaborative approach and stuff, then great, but the passion to actually do the work is that's just going to get you really, really far. So like I say, every possible opportunity, try and show that, in your video interview, really, really try and sell it. And then at your final stage assessment centre, when you're talking to a manager, being yourself, but also really just selling that passion. I think that is, for my 5 years of watching these assessment centres and listening to managers' feedback, that's the thing that comes up time and time again. And yeah, other than that, the obvious one is just, make sure you do things on time, because it does kind of put us off a little bit if you faffing about with the deadlines and you're extending it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Really try to stick to deadlines and things like that, because that's more impressive to us, in application processes and things like that. Yeah, I don't think there's any more. I feel like we've covered quite a lot, actually. I think I've learned about Siemens as well on this webinar.
How many video interviews do you think you've both seen over the years then? Thousands?
To be fair, we don't watch them ourselves. Sometimes we do, depends, but it's usually our hiring managers that watch them. But we get 25,000 applications a year to our early careers roles. So a team of 3 screens all of those.
A lot of CVs.
It's a lot. But yeah, obviously that, just to reiterate how competitive it is to get a job at Siemens, but make sure you try and get your application in early. As we said earlier, our roles will be being posted. More will be coming to the GradCracker hub. And I think it's a really nice little hub where you can see a lot about Siemens, and it's maybe not as overwhelming as the actual careers site, even though our careers site is great. Obviously we spend a lot of time on that, but the GradCracker hub, I feel like, is quite easy to navigate. It's just like a one-stop shop for everything about Siemens. You've got our videos and things like that on there, and yeah, more and more roles are coming in, so we will be posting more on there. So yeah, get your applications in, please.
Don't be shy, Charlotte. The hub's better. Come on.
Yeah, I can't lie.
Heard it here first, guys. That is the perfect way to end off the GradCracker webinar. I'm going to clip that bit off and put it on my
Publish an article. Siemens says.
Perfect. Thanks very much, girls, and thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been an absolute blast. Really enjoyed this webinar. Don't forget that they've got opportunities open at the moment at Siemens. So they've got 5 placements, 5 graduate opportunities, but that doesn't mean, you know, 5 graduates and 5 interns. I know that Jessie's like beaming this into my head now. She's looking at me. So they've got lots more positions open. So make sure you get your applications in. Follow Siemens as well, and then you will be alerted to when Charlotte and Sophie adds more opportunities onto the GradCracker Hub. But for now, thank you very much. Enjoy your night out tonight, Charlotte and Sophie. I'm going to be ringing you 8 o'clock sharp just to make sure you're switched on. And guys, me and Jess will be joining you all next week with Galliford Try. So we'll see you all then.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys.
See you later. Bye. Bye.